lights up. Pigskin heads their coffee cups. Football cards on the table scattered. Chasing legends torn and battered. Weekly updates shouted loud. Fantasy lineups make us proud. Talking trades, hobby news to yell. Pigskin press box live as hell. Weekly updates shouted loud. Fantasy lineups make us proud. Talking trades, hobby news to yell. Pigskin press box live as hell. Foil flares the golden shine. Breaking packs the holy shrine. Hits and misses, legends rise. Gritty dance under neon skies. Weekly updates shouted loud. Fantasy lineups make us proud. Talking trades, hobby news to yell. Pigskin press box live as hell. Flares the golden shine. Breaking packs the holy shrine. Hits and misses, legends rise. Gritty dance under neon skies. Weekly updates shouted loud. Fantasy lineups make us proud. Talking trades, hobby news to yell. Pigskin press box live as hell. Warriors breaking bones. Dreams collapse on brittle thrones. Trash talk flies, stats collide. Football frenzy never dies. Weekly updates shouted loud. Fantasy lineups make us proud. Talking trades, hobby news to yell. Pigskin press box live as hell.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm out here tonight. I got Vince from Sports Card Ripping Teacher. I don't know if you guys have ever checked him out. See who's around in the chat tonight. Let's see. We got I see Dino in there. We got Sick Twist. We got Pick Six cards. We got who else is up in here? We've seen Pick Six. I've seen Dino. How's everybody doing tonight? How you doing tonight, Vince?
I'm doing pretty well. Just got home from the National not long ago, but I kind of got a second wind here being on with you. To be honest with you, I was tired, end of the show, a lot of walking around, but I am recharged here right now. So thanks for inviting me.
No, thanks for coming out. Yeah, it was cool that you were at the National because I was like, that'd be cool, something we could talk about. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
And it's actually cool because usually what we do when we start off is we go through the pickups that we had. So maybe did you pick up anything like super cool at the National or?
Nothing crazy for me. I went on Thursday and today, obviously. And on Thursday, it was my job. I wanted to find an on-card Brett Favre autograph, and I never did. I found two really nice. They were sticker laundry tag ones, and I was so close, and I'm like, I've waited this long. I can wait a little bit longer. So I kind of looked around today. I did go with my two boys and their friends, and when you take kids there with you, it's kind of like herding cats.
Yeah.
Trying to keep everyone, the older boys, they had phones and watches with them. Jax, he forgot his, so he was kind of like, all right, you don't leave here. I'm gonna go down this aisle, then I'll come back. But I did make a few pickups here. I can go through those. Spent a lot of time at the value bins today. Just a lot of cool cards. I feel like anyways. And I was able to, while Hammy's still here, I knocked off quite a few of the Brett Favre, the Flight to 420.
Oh, okay.
I probably got, I'm not going to show all of them to you because they're all, they're all great and all, but it's the same thing. But I got about 10 of these right there. And these were 50 cents each. The value bin was half off. So that's kind of been my project here the past couple of years, picking all of those up. And then just some really cool, an old school Green Bay Packer, this Fleer sticker. There's no year on there, but I don't think it's recent at all, but that came in a pack of Fleer. This Dave Robinson Sports Flicks.
Oh, those are so cool.
Anytime I can find something like this, I will definitely pick it up. This is what, 19,
60s, I think. Wasn't it
Yeah,
70?
69.
69,
Yeah,
yeah.
69, 70. So I wear contacts, but I may need to get cheaters, I think, because some of the fine print stuff I just can't see.
Yeah.
Joe Theismann, he went to Notre Dame, had to pick up this one right here.
That's
I
cool.
I think they're Cowboy fans in here, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, you got Dino's a
yeah,
cowboy
Dino's in
monster.
here. Oh man. So I found 3 Cowboys, and Dino, if you want to email me, you can have one of them. I did get them for Justin over at Three Good Nerds, but he won't know. But these Coca-Cola Monster cards, this is what they should have done with these Score a Treat that are coming out now. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Emmett Smith all dressed up over there. There are probably about 15 of them they had there, but they really missed the boat this past year. Like, if you're not going to do everyone, at least do a few people
Right.
on there. A little action-packed Troy Aikman. Now this
Oh,
one's
those are cool.
silver, and I don't. I remember the gold, but I don't remember the silver.
I think
So
the silvers were insert, and I think they're actually plated silver, aren't they?
they are, yes, and it might be my favorite pickup. I don't know. Just it
That's a
kind
cool
of
card.
when I saw it, I just kind of smiled. Like some cards just kind of take you back to your childhood. And here's the last of the Cowboys, and we will turn this Cowboy show off. But they're like Pogs on there from classic football. Got
Oh
Troy
yeah.
Aikman and Emmett Smith on there, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I dug through that box hoping there was a Packer one in there. There was not. 2 Favre's action packs right there.
Those are cool too. What year was that one? I think that was a later action pack. The first ones, remember the first ones were gold too.
Yeah, this one I know 90. Okay, here's the 93,
Okay.
and then this one's 94. I was with, I don't know if you know Zach and Porter. They have a channel as well, father and son duo.
Yeah, I've seen
He
that channel.
found, okay, he found a Favre rookie action packed in his Falcons jersey, a
Oh wow.
graded card, and he has a collection of graded Hall of Fame players, and he didn't have a Favre, so that's his going in there. I wish I would have saw that one before him. I did not have this Sterling Sharp, surprisingly. Hall of Fame inductee right there
Oh yeah.
on the
That's a nice
90.
one.
And what else we got here? I found a Reggie. Only really Reggie I found. Got the hologram on the bottom there as well.
Oh, I love it. Reggie Wright's one of my favorites, man. Him and Bruce
Oh,
Smith when I was growing up as
yeah.
defensive tackles were just like saints, man.
So there are some people that once they leave a team or whatever, I won't pick them up anymore. But Reggie White, if I find an Eagle Reggie White, I'm still gonna take that one. And I love anytime I can pick these up, but the old Topps Finest with the film still on there. I gotta
Oh
take
yeah.
it out of the thing here. I mean, I get giddy over these. I found quite a few baseball ones, Cubs actually. So I just kind of get giddy
Yeah,
finding
I
these. I
scored 2
mean,
Randy Moss rookies with the film still on them.
oh, nice,
Yeah, I have 2
nice.
of them. They're cool.
And like when the boys and I we're all going over our pickups, um, Graham got a huge autographed picture of a Julio Rodriguez. Our neighbor Brock, I don't know how he got it, but it was a pylon signed by Chris Johnson.
Oh, that's so
Crazy.
cool.
And like they got some of the coolest stuff. I mean, and they would like wheel and deal. They brought cards to trade with them. They brought money. And I think that was one of the keys actually, because on Thursday, I had just cash with me. Cash is king, right? When you're our age.
Right. Yeah.
And people were not willing to bend really on their prices with just cash. But if you
Right.
had cash and cards to trade, they were more willing to come down on their price, thinking that they could get more for those cards that they're getting in the trade.
Right.
Because $40 is just $40. But the
Right.
cards they can maybe get a little bit money for. And I sat the kids around. I told them all about the film on the cards here, and they were kind of impressed, I guess.
Yeah, you know
But
what? It was cool with those, and if you can find them still where it's not already starting to peel or bubble, I mean
mm,
that's awesome. Those ones are really cool. And because a lot of them, if people didn't keep them like in top loaders and stuff, they
right,
would
yeah, it
start
started
to
to peel a little
peel.
bit.
So that was kind of the only bad thing about it. But yeah, those things are really cool. When you find them like that, you got to jump on those, especially in dollar bins. I mean, come on. I mean, that's
Yeah, and
pretty awesome.
I got a few baseball ones. I paid a little bit more for a, Ryan Sandberg one that wasn't peeled. It was still in really good shape. So I was kind of lucky to find that one. Yeah, but those were the card show pickups for football there. So
That's awesome, man. That was real cool. I didn't pick up too much stuff. I actually just did a rip earlier today. I posted on my channel. And so I had picked up a couple of cards, and they basically, let me get over to the little card cam. So when I did the rip, I picked up the actually, hold on. This wasn't from the rip. These are the two I bought. I picked up a Terry McLaurin, just a base Phoenix rookie. And then I picked up the red. So I got just a parallel of it. Those were the only two actual pickups that I made, and then the rest of it came out of a rip, which was super cool. I just got a Brian Thomas Jr. on the base. I did get
nice.
Kool-Aid McKinstry, which I think Dino's already spoken for the Kool-Aid McKinstry on the orange laser. And I picked up a Brian Robinson Jr. on the orange laser, which will probably go to Scary Terry. I just saw he popped in, so I seen Lisa came in
here. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I seen Hammy's here with us in the chat. Lisa came in. I see Seth from SV Vintage, 2 days rip, Scary Terry. Everybody's in here. This is awesome. I love it. But yeah, this will probably, end up in Scary Terry's box. And then I got a Myles Garrett gold laser, or the orange laser, and IPC Myles Garrett. He's one of my favorites to watch. Cooper DeJean on the orange. And then I got a Michael Penix on the orange laser. So
you did pretty well.
That was a crazy. All of these were from the same blaster. I was like, wow, that was a solid blaster, which was
that's
cool.
all from the same blaster. Wow.
It was one blaster box, yeah, and all that stuff came from the same blaster. It was pretty cool. So those were the pickups that I had this week. That was pretty much all I got. I didn't really have a lot coming in this week, so. But yeah, so.
Sometimes cool. I just need to make sure not too much is coming in the mail so my wife doesn't notice like box after box. And when we go on vacation, I always either got to talk to the neighbor or the kid across the street. I'm like, and I will stop our mail, but if like some things come, whatever, I'm like, if you see something, pick it up and give it to me. Don't give it to anyone else in the house. Give it to me. So
yeah. Hey, what's up, Justin? Justin's in here. Scary Terry said, hey, y'all. But I was kind of reading through. I think I noticed. Let me see. Let me go back up a little bit in the chat here. I was noticing people were talking about some of their pickups, and I kind of missed it, so I got to go back. Anybody out there get anything super cool? I know somebody had picked up a 101. I saw that scroll through, and then I missed it.
I think pick 6, Phoenix Black 101, Derek Stingley Jr. Very nice.
Those 2024 Phoenix Black, those blacks are really, really cool, man. I'm a fan of Phoenix in 2024. I thought it was a great looking card. And the parallels were super awesome.
Right.
So, yeah, I was stoked about those.
And I've always gotten singles of those just because it was a hobby only product. But they look very sharp.
Yeah. So, we kind of threw it out there that I wanted to go over the top 3 things of my hobby likes and my hobby dislikes. And then I'll give it over to you, and we'll go through the same thing and things that you like in the hobby. So I wanted to start off with the hobby likes. And one of the things that I do like in the hobby, and if you notice, I picked up those Scary Terry cards, is I do like parallels. I am glad that they have come out with parallels. I think it's a little bit nuts in some cases. They've kind of went a little overboard, but I do enjoy collecting parallels. So, as the hobbies progress from when I was a kid, this is things that I like since the 90s, you know what I mean? Is I do like a lot more of the parallels. It gives you a little more stuff to chase. I dig chasing like the stuff that's color match. I think that's super, super cool. So yeah, the parallels are nice. I mean, they are a little bit out of control, and I don't chase rainbows. That's not my thing. I do like just to collect like the color match stuff, the golds and the silvers, stuff like that. I'm a Charger fan. I'm not a big fan of getting a green Charger card or a
right. Yeah, you want that color match on there.
Yeah. So I don't really do the rainbow thing, but I do like, and that's why I picked up these Terry McLaurin cards because they're, it's a red color match, and then it's his base.
Right.
So that's kind of what I collect, and that's one of the things that I like in the hobby today was the parallels. It is cool.
And like when I find maybe some junk wax packs and I'll open those with my boys, they're like, well, where are the image variations? Where are the inserts? I'm like, there's just a set to collect. And if you're lucky, you get a piece of gum or a little trivia thing. Like, and we were happy as can be.
Yeah,
So parallels are
our
nice.
inserts were like the record breaker card or like the
Right.
all
Yeah.
star card.
Right.
That was about it.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I see Scary Terry down there, man. I hope they don't trade Terry McLaurin. I mean, unless he comes to the Chargers, but I don't know. I think he kind of needs to stay there. I think he feels like one of those players that just belongs to that team, you know.
Right.
You know. So, what's one of the things that you like about the hobby since you've been collecting?
So, you know what? I kind of went with being at the National for a couple days here. Some of the things that I saw there that I liked and then disliked as well. So, number one is just what you can find in the value bins. And on the last day, they were half off. So, every card that I showed you there before, those were all $1. And you could easily find $5 cards in those bins. They'll have $3 bins, $5 bins, and like you can find some really good cards if you take the time to just go through them. Now, the first day of the show, so many people around, it's hard to go through. On Sundays, the crowd is much lighter, and we just kind of bellied up there and found a lot of really good cards. And so it was myself, Zach, and then Greg Clark. And our boys were just kind of walking around all over the place, coming back, checking in, and we're still at that same bin. Just the value you can find in some of those bins to me is just like, I don't say startling, but like not more people are going through them.
Yeah, I dig that when I'm at shows. I go to like the Burbank Sports Card Show, which is now the West Coast Card Show, and I do
Okay.
like the front row show.
Sure.
The thing I like is because everybody's chasing like the PSA 10s, that you can find those value bins of slabs that are like nines and stuff like that, and you could get them for like so cheap. It's amazing. You know, I picked up a lot of stuff that's in a 9, and I'm like, it'll look like a 10. I'm like, there must be something on the surface I'm not seeing, but this thing looks great. So I'll collect 9s. So I love that.
If you don't mind the number, the National is a good place because a lot of places they're just trying to get rid of their 8s and 9s, and there'll be great slab deals. You know, some have, you know, they said everything's at least $25, but there's more, but 4 of them for $60. And I mean, that's like, those are no brainers to me. You can find a lot of value in there.
Right. Yeah, you can. And it's really, really awesome. But I guess we'll move on to number two. Number two, what I like about collecting cards and you being a collector from the 90s, it was almost taboo to get a card autographed, right? Like there was such a big thing about it, like, oh, it destroys the card. So a lot of people collected like 8x10s or baseballs and stuff like that, more memorabilia, but like people didn't like autographed cards. So one of the things that I brought out, and it's because I think it's really actually cool, and I liked autographed cards back in the day, and I love the fact that you can get autographed cards in packs and stuff now. So I brought out a couple cards, more than just a couple, but and when I say that, and this first one is really cool because I heard that Keenan Allen had a visit with the Chargers today, and there's a good possibility of a reunion. So I'm super stoked, right? But these are just a bunch of my Charger, like on-card autos, sticker autos. I kind of collect them all. So I brought like a Keenan Allen, and then, you know, I collect linemen and stuff too. So I have like the Joe Alt that was gifted to me from Panther Breaks, and then I have the Joe Alt stars, and then of course we got, you know, the new draft picks for this year. I got Amarian Hampton. It's just one of his college cards, but the auto cards are kind of something that's really cool for me. I think, you know, I like collecting them. Here goes a Dan Fouts, so we can go back in the day and look at Dan Fouts, and this is a 82, and then I got some Rodney Harrison even from 99.
Very nice.
Deion Henley, you know, some new rookies, Derwin James, you know, so the autograph cards are super cool. I have a nice Quentin Johnson, which was also gifted to me. A lot of these cards have been gifted to me, and I think that's such an awesome thing. So I always try to send them back. I just got this one, an Natron Means auto.
Okay.
Which is super cool. I got some Rashawn Slater. Got the Chargers' greatest running back of all time, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh,
You
I mean,
know,
what person our age did not like him?
right? You know, I
I
have
mean, how could you
Kellen
not?
Winslow. I mean, I have like a lot of Chargers that I got. I even have stuff and I hang them on the wall. So I even took these off so I can show you guys. I have like Charlie Joyner. You know, I have his rookie card, and then I have, you know, an auto from him. And then on my other wall, I have a Lad McConkey that I picked up at a show. It's a RPA. And then I have like his silver rookie next to it. So those are kind of like how I think the hobby has done good in that aspect is, you know, it's really cool that, you know, you can get like the autos and the patch cards and the RPAs. I think those things are really, really awesome. And so that's kind of one of the things that'd be like my number 2 on the list of the things I like in the hobby right now.
Oh, for sure. You can go buy a blaster and get an autograph out of there. I remember like when the boys first started collecting, we would go to Meyer and get the half off blasters. And we got, it's probably about a couple boxes of Prestige. And one of the boys got an offensive lineman from Pittsburgh. The other one got an offensive lineman from the Giants, but they were thrilled. Like they thought that they were, you know, the greatest players ever. Just getting that ink, like it was super impressive. But how about Joe Alt? You can read Joe Alt's name on that card. No doubt you know that he learned cursive, University
Right,
of
right,
Notre
right,
Dame
right.
graduate. So, no, that's awesome.
Hey,
That is
what's up,
awesome.
Boji? Yeah, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna get up for a second. Hold on. Here's the cool part. I actually have his dad's autograph.
I remember you saying that. Okay, yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Here, I'll go back to the camera. If you look at his autograph and his dad's autograph, it's pretty cool. Let me see. Let me get back to my Joe Alt. They're actually like super, super similar. That's the funny part of the whole thing. Like they're not too far apart in their auto.
Okay, yeah, there's his dad. Gotcha.
So they're not like super, super far apart. They're kind of like similar. So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah,
Those are pretty good.
and that's why I like the auto cards, man. I think that's kind of a cool deal that they've done. Oh, I also have a Junior Colston. I got Charger autos everywhere.
You got them popping up everywhere, growing like weeds.
I'm a big kid. You know what I mean? I'm a big kid, and that's just how it is.
Hey, all of us are.
But yeah, that was definitely my number 2.
So with my number 2, and I probably have a dislike with this later on, but seeing all the kids in the hobby and just a bunch of different kids interacting, they're smiling, you know, no one's arguing about stuff, like especially as a school teacher, that's good to see kids just getting along. Um, so I forget his name now, Jeff Wilson. He has like a kid zone at the National just for kids, and he has some of his employees in there to kind of like moderate a little bit, and they will trade with the kids, and they're trading slabs to kids for like next to nothing. But if there's kids in there to want to like broker a deal together, they'll just kind of walk around a little bit. I think you have to be 12 or younger to be in there. It says no coin flips for deciding like cards or whatever, but just to see the kids getting along. And then that ended around like 3 or 4, something like that. And then just all the kids kind of all came back in there, and they set up on these empty tables, and the kids are still wheeling and dealing after the thing was done, and they're exchanging cash for some things, exchanging cards. And I'm just sitting in the back because I was tired at that point. My boys were in there, but they're all getting along, and they're all just like showing cards. Brock, who had that pylon, he had that thing sitting on there. He was not going to trade that or sell that. But so many kids came up and like wanted to look at it, they wanted to hold it, and they like got it, and they like their hands sunk because it's much heavier than what you think it is.
Right.
But just like knowing that those kids are in the hobby going forward is a good feeling for me. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, that's actually really cool, and it's good to see them getting out. You know what I mean? It's not like it used to be back in the day. We used to trade cards while we were playing in the street. You know,
Right,
we're
yeah,
in the
exactly.
dirt lot playing baseball, trading cards. We
Yep.
were out in the street playing football, trading cards. So it's kind of cool to see that, you know, to get the kids and stuff to get out there a little bit more and kind of have some more interaction other than just, you know, on video
Right.
or anything like that. So that's actually a really cool deal, and I dig that. I got a lot of respect for that. I think that's a cool thing to have that kids trade zone. That is cool. So we move on into number 3, going back to, bringing up one of these autos again, in these cases, one of the things I like is the innovation that's come in through displays. So
Mm.
I think, back in the day we had top loaders, and we had the semi-rigids and penny sleeves, and that's kind of what you did. If you wanted to put your cards on the wall, you had to go to, the local store that sold picture frames, and you had to stick them in a frame. But now you kind of come in and we have lots of these display cases and all kinds of different stuff, like, the mags. Those are all cool, and just different things. We had like the screw down case, which was like
Oh
destroying a
yeah,
lot of cards,
I've got a few of those around still.
smashing the cards together, and we used to wrench them down as tight as we could,
Oh
and
yeah,
didn't realize what we were actually doing, I think, back then as much. But there's like a lot of different stuff. And even with the grading, the graded cards and
right.
stuff like that, having the slabs, and I even, if you look at some of the autos I was bringing up, I make a lot of my own, especially if they're on card like this. I mean, if
Mhm.
they're pack pulled, I'll make my own slabs. I order them, and I put unlabeled just so that it has like all the information, so
That's
that if
awesome.
anybody actually comes in or they're, looking at my displays, they could kind of look at it. Maybe they don't know when they played or what year the card was. So I just think that's kind of cool. It's like the innovation in, the displays and the different types of just different supplies that we have nowadays, and the options that we have to like store and display cards is really such a cool deal. I mean, all the way down to like the bumpers that are going around the slab. I like the way they
Without a
look,
doubt.
and it's just cool. I think that innovation is actually something that I kind of dig. I haven't seen any of my newer top loaders in the past 10 years turn yellow. So I think they
Right,
might have fixed that
exactly.
issue.
Yes,
So
and I've got a lot of those yellow ones down there.
yeah.
And I love that idea of like having your own slabs, because really, like, I don't really care to get a card graded. Like, I'm not looking for the grade. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of this card because it's not a 10. But I do like how they're displayed in there. So for certain cards, I may kind of go that route and make my own little top thing for it to kind of display everything. But do you remember game day football? Sure you do, right? The
Yeah.
tall
Oh yeah, the
boys.
tall boys.
So as a kid, I just love, if it was a little bit different, I loved it. But as a kid, I was like, well, how in the world do I put these into a binder? So I would take a 9 window binder and then just put like 6 cards in there. And then that's what I did. And I had, just so many in there. I mean, it it looked bad. It looked like, a kid from the south side of Chicago collecting cards, no other way to store them. But
Yeah.
then I found the 6 sleeve um pages recently from like cart shells or someone like that, and I was just like blown out of the water. I'm like, why didn't someone think of this when I was nine
Yeah.
years old collecting this? And I
Hmm.
mean, I was a kid in the candy store with those things.
Yeah, and I mean, they have top loaders for those and stuff now. They even have like top loaders
Hmm.
for like the tobacco cards and things like that. So it's just cool, the things that we didn't have that we have now, which is super
Yes.
cool. And I think that innovation is, I mean, everything down to little stands. And I mean, I don't know if you've watched my video. I have like that Elytic wall mount display. It's like an acrylic
Right,
case
right.
that you can hang on the wall or stand up. And it's like those innovations are cool because I like looking at my cards, you know what I mean? And I like to
Mhm.
display them all over the place. I think
Oh,
it's
me
cool.
too,
I
for
look
sure.
up and, you know what I mean? It's like, that's cool. When I walk into the room, I'm looking at, Hall of Fame players. And so when they're all in boxes or if they're in binders and stuff, you kind of don't get to look at them.
Yeah, what's the point of collecting almost if they're all just
Yeah.
in there? So
Yeah.
here are some of my game day football, my top loader ones, penny
See,
sleeves, and
there you go.
because I just forgot about game day football and no idea these existed. Which basketball cards, they had tall boys back in the day and other ones as well. So
And
I'm
they had
not
football ones too
surprised.
back in the
Yeah,
60s. They did.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah. But I was when I saw these, I was just so excited, and it's those simple things that get me going.
yeah, so that kind of innovation, mainly the 3 types of innovation that I've seen that I think are really, really cool is just the supplies, like I said, the on card autographs, the sticker autos, even the sticker autos, I'm not as big of a fan of, but hey, I'll take it. And
Right.
those are the things that I've seen, over the years, as the hobby progressed is really, really cool, and along with the technologies too. I do like the websites and stuff. I brought up that Sports Card Pro where you can like catalog your cards, you can put ungraded
Sure.
cards. And so it's kind of cool to be able to like put that in there, and even for insurance reasons, if something ever happened, God forbid,
It's true. I
floods,
never thought of
fires,
that.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. If you actually had a list of that and it's already valuing them, I mean, it's something that may come in handy if you ever had an incident. So some of those technologies and some of those innovations are really, really cool. And those are the three things that I would have to say that I like right now in the hobby. Definitely.
Okay. So for my third, my boys were trying to get me to do a YouTube channel like probably 3, 4 years before I actually did it. And they would ask me, like, let's get a YouTube channel. I'm like, no, we're not gonna get a YouTube channel. Like, I don't got time for this, whatever. And like we would watch some things. And then after COVID, I finally broke down. So okay, let's try this, let's give it a go and do whatever. But I am so glad that I did, just because of the people I've met in the hobby
Mm-hmm.
through, like we've never met in person before, Craig, but just like interacting, like this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
And
cool.
now that I have met quite a few people, I mentioned a few people I met at the National, Justin Three Good Nerds. I've met him before. It's just so much fun. Like you're kind of at an age where you're like, I have all the friends I'm ever gonna have. Like
Right,
once your
right.
kids get into sports and stuff like that, but then you have this like second coming of hobby friends, and it's a blast. It does make collecting so much fun, and it's just like exciting. I mean, like Hammy and I will text Packer cards back and forth together, and my like wife will look at me like, and I'm smiling at my phone, and she's like, "What are you doing over there?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just looking at a Brett
Yeah.
Favre card or a Tucker Kraft autograph," and she like rolls her eyes, but
Yeah. Of course, we're just, a bunch of big kids, but it is cool. It's
right,
like a virtual schoolyard almost. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
right,
and what I
exactly,
thought was super cool is I've got to connect with people like Scary Terry Cards or like Panther Breaks and Jazambi, and my buddy Sean. He's on here now too, and he moved. He's now living out in Arizona, and I'm still in California. So it's kind of a cool way to stay in contact. And we're always,
sure,
shooting texts back and forth. Look what I'm picking up. Look what I'm bidding on. Look at this. Look what I got. And then the cool part is you get to meet people like Bogies and or like Red, or what about like Ken over there. God is great. He's over in
sure, yeah,
Japan.
definitely. We're
Like
international. Quite a few Canadian friends as well. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And so what was so cool about it was like I've sent packages to Ken, and then Ken sent stuff back to me, and it was like, dude, I got the envelope, and I was more stoked about the envelope because of the writing and the
Right,
stamps. I was like, this is cool. So I like, that kind of stuff is pretty awesome, And then he sent me some packs of stuff from Japan. So it's stuff, players, baseball cards that I would have never
mhm,
seen, or maybe players I never heard of. And then it was
right.
cool to see just the different styles. So yeah, definitely the technology behind, the collecting game. I had never even thought. I started my YouTube channel a couple years ago, and it's been a little over 2 years, I think. And I had never even thought about looking at card content. It never even crossed my mind.
Mhm.
And so one day I didn't really go on YouTube a ton. I did do a lot of work from my business. I would build out people's YouTubes and I'd create videos for them and stuff like that. But I'd never even thought to look at sports card content. And one day I was on YouTube and something threw across my feed, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. Someone's like ripping a pack or something. I'm like,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, of course, the algorithm went nuts and I started getting sports card stuff. And I was just like, this is off the hook. It never even dawned on me to even look up
Right.
sports
Right.
card content.
So
So
my boys were looking at it, and like I use YouTube. Like the real heroes are still those that help us fix things around the house. Cause like I'm not too good at like, figuring out how to do it, but I can follow directions.
yeah.
I fixed so many things around here, but then some of the things their Graham was watching were popping up on there. And then I started watching some of these things as well. And it just kind of went like crazy after that. So, have you heard the spinach hunt? Julie Farnham does it, and it's with baseball cards. But
Mm-mm.
every April, is it April 1st? I think it's April 1st. It's just a big community thing. And then SJR Wildcat, I don't know if you know him or not. He's a big
Yeah.
football guy, but
Mhm.
he got me to doing it, and I had met so many people through that. People just kind of like emailed me afterwards saying like, "Hey, enjoyed what you're doing, and I'm a Cubs fan too, or I'm a Packer fan too." So just people kind of go out of their way just to introduce themselves, be nice, and it's a pleasure for sure.
Yeah, and I think when you start making content, and you start getting to interact with people, it's cool that that like they're like minded, and they're not
Right.
just talking to the wall. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's kind of cool too. But I mean, I see like Nikki 2 times in here. I'm looking in the chat, and Justin's in here. And one of the cool things that I like too is I like watching people's content and like watching it
Mhm.
change and grow. You know,
Right.
watching people's quality go different. You know, I think we all kind of start out and we're all kind of like nervous, and it's like, and this is what I opened today. And then like all of a sudden you kind of start seeing people kind of catch a groove, and then they start getting comfortable. And so it's really cool to see people, you know, they start getting better in their editing, and you start seeing them, you know, do some other different ideas. And it's just a good time, man. I love doing the channel. And that's why I actually started this. You know, I got with Hammy and was like, man, this is such a good time. It would
Oh,
be
for
cool to
sure.
go live and just, you know, get with everybody and send stuff around. And it's cool. That's my favorite, dude. I'm like, when I get something in the mail, I'm like a kid, dude. I walk to the mailbox and I get
Oh,
something
yeah.
and I'm like, woo! And I'm running back to the house. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. So yeah, that's kind of how I am, you know, and it's cool. And especially when I get something from somebody and I wasn't even expecting it, you know, I didn't order
Right.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Well, my
it's awesome.
boys, like Graham especially, he knows when something is like card wise, or Daryl Giordano, he'll send us some things sometimes. And I can wait a little bit to open it, but for kids to wait like 30 seconds to open a package that comes, you would think I'm depriving them of, food, air, water, and everything. Like they just can't wait. And I love torturing them to wait a little bit. So I'll wait. I'm like, let's, after dinner, we'll have this. So we'll wait until after this. And gotta teach
Yeah.
these kids a little bit of patience.
Yeah, you think my freaking post lady is Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Because she rolls up and I'm standing there waiting like, woo.
Right.
But
That's
yeah, no,
great.
it's a good time, man. I dig it. So that definitely would top the list of the hobby likes for me, was getting involved in
Mhm.
this YouTube channel. And it's fun, man. I dig doing it, you know. And then we're playing fantasy football together. So it's not just like me and people at work. You know what I mean? It's like, this is
Right.
awesome, dude. This is a good time. But with that being said, you know, we kind of turned the corner and we got to go into the things that we don't like about the hobby. So I think, you know, there's a lot of things changed, you know, and anytime there's money involved, there's always going to be crazy things that happen, you know,
Mhm.
so we just got to be cautious for ourselves and just, you know, pay attention to what we're doing. But I think the first thing I'm going to talk about is the buying online is a good thing. That should have been, that's part of the technology, you know, by being able
Mhm.
to pick up cards that you used to have to get them at the local card shop, and now you can actually get stuff that's you wouldn't have normally had accessible to you, right? So one of the things that I like is eBay. I'm an eBay junkie. I think it's great, and that's why I see my post lady all the time. I think she's Santa Claus. So the thing that is like I'm gonna bring this card out. I order a lot of stuff on eBay, and the one thing is when people ship you cards. So I see a lot of people that post stuff on eBay with like a cheap price on it, and then they'll like jack up the shipping and stuff like that. And I kind of
Mhm.
don't like that. And you know, you get people that'll charge you $5 and $6, you know, to ship something. So if you're going to charge me $5 to ship something, I'm expecting a bubble mailer.
Right. Exactly.
And so one of the things I like is I love patch cards. I think they're super cool. You know what I mean? I think the game worn patches, I chase them all over. So I picked up this game worn patch, and it's player worn material. It's LaDainian Tomlinson. It's numbered to 125, and they shipped it in an envelope. And as if you see here,
Oh.
it got destroyed. The corner, you know, and even on the back, you can see where it had like pressed through, and you can see like
Right.
the
Yeah.
line
Oh,
here. Because these
creases right
things,
there.
yeah, if it's not in a bubble mailer where it's ship ground advantage, you know, it slides through, you know, a million miles an hour through
Right.
those machines. And these cards are thick. I mean, this card's a pretty thick card. It's probably like what, 80 point or something like that. So it's a pretty thick card. And so when it goes through there, it smashes it. And with that hollow spot that's under the patch, you know, it just gets beat up, and you'll see,
Right.
you know, just in those spots. So I think one of the things that irks me is when people ship and they start charging excessive amounts of money to ship a card. And it's like, God dang, you know, it's like if you're sending me an envelope and you're charging me more than $1.50 or $2, you know, then I'm kind of like irked about it, you know. And then if you're
I
charging
agree
me
100%.
$5 for shipping, I would expect you to ship it the right way. You know, I've seen stuff come to me, like I said, in an envelope that shouldn't be. You know, I've seen people take
Right.
slabs and put them in envelopes. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely, and sometimes it'll get hung up at the post office, and they'll say if you want it, you have to pay for more shipping, and on and on and on. So I think that's probably the first thing I don't like in the hobby is if you're going to be selling cards online, you're going to be shipping to people. I think that making sure that you ship it the right way, protect the card that you're sending, and send it the right way. You know, if it's a slab, if it's a thick card, Don't put it in an envelope. Put it in a bubble mailer.
And I've
Okay.
had a few times where the, postman comes and says, "Hey, you owe me, whatever for this to be delivered." And, a lot of times, like, okay, whatever. It's like a few pennies or a few cents. Even sometimes he's like, "Well, they didn't pay enough, but whatever, I'll just do it."
Yeah.
And I've had ones where like I wrote a couple dollars and I wrote back to the guy. I'm like, "Hey, I paid like $5, $7 for a bubble mailer, and like you've got to send it the right way." And they
Yeah.
get mad at me then, which I don't quite understand. It's like
Yeah.
you
Like you've
have
done
to,
something wrong, right?
right? Yeah, you have to weigh your product, and if you got to pay a couple more cents, like that's what you do.
Yeah.
So I am with you there. For my first dislike, I'm gonna go with, and I'm a firm believer everyone should collect how they want to collect.
Right.
And if you want to get the most expensive product out there, go ahead and do that. If you want to, get your whole set trading on a trading card database, that's awesome too. But I hate when I see international, especially, just stacks of cards that people don't want, and someone just throw them in like the garbage can. So they're going for all the like case hits,
Hmm.
and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And just don't throw it into the garbage can. Stack it up on a side. Some kid's gonna get it, and that some kid was my son Jax. He was going through finding things and looking through what he wanted, put in his bag, and he put the rest of the cards back. But I just hate when people waste. And I've seen people, things on Facebook or Twitter, whatever, like garbage cans of base cards, like donate them to a school. And I've had a
Yeah.
lot of people that ask me, like, "Hey, can I send you cards?" And I'm like, you know what? Shipping is super expensive. But if there's a school close to you, like, just go drop them off there. Someone's going to put good use to them. No one does more with less than teachers. I
Right.
mean, kids love to get trinkets, keychains, wristbands. They will do their homework for a week to get like a cheap wristband. If you
Right.
give
Right.
them like a little stack of cards, like they'll be over the moon. So just find a way to get those. If you don't want them, if you don't collect sets, do something to put them in the hands of someone that will.
Yeah, you know what? That's crazy you said that. I used to have a customer when I had my shop open, and they do foster kids. So I've dropped off stuff there. So there's like
Awesome.
foster associations where the kids don't have anything, or they may be stuck somewhere for a while in between
Mhm.
housings and things like that. You can go to homeless shelters and drop them off because kids end up
Yeah, sure.
there. I mean, dude, you could change somebody's entire outlook, perspective on life. Maybe even they could fall in love with the sport you give them, and they start
Oh,
playing
without a
that, you
doubt.
know what I mean? And you could change somebody's life by a card. So
Mhm.
why throw that stuff away? I'm with you 100%, man. That bothers me. I do not throw cards away. Do not. It's not in my nature. I can't. Like it won't even let me. It's like,
Right.
hey, what are you doing? So
Exactly. Yep.
like I got
Exactly.
that ruined card and I was supposed to send it back and I like kept it. I still have it. And it's, even though
Right.
it's
Oh yeah.
ruined, I'm thinking about taking the patch out and creating my own little custom card or something. I mean, it's a game worn patch still, but it's destroyed, and I
Make an
still won't
LT
throw it
card
away.
yourself. Oh yeah.
I won't even throw it away. I'm like, still here. So I agree with you 100%, man. Because even a card like that, to give it to a kid or something like that who could cherish it, you know what I mean? So definitely, you could always find different types of places, foster homes and homeless shelters or any type of place like that. Even the churches and hospitals.
Oh yeah.
Like
100%.
Ken over there. I mean, dude, I bet you Ken would probably have a blast with some of those kids over there in Japan. You know what I mean? At the hospital, it would just be something to pass the time when they're stuck there. So
Definitely. So last year, this is kind of on the same subject that you get. 2 years ago at the National, my oldest son Graham, it was kind of end of the day. He was sitting against one of the walls, kind of just like looking through his cards, and he looked kind of pitiful there, just kind of like slumped over, like tired from the day or whatever. And some guy came and gave him just a big stack of cards, and one of them was this Devonte Adams 2 out of 50 right there. And then like just people are generous with things. And like
yeah, yeah.
he got this and he loves this card to this day. I mean, he was a big Packer fan,
Mhm.
uh Devontae Adams, but that someone gave this to him, it just like made his entire day.
Yeah.
And I was kind of joking. I'm like, well, if people throw some quarters and dimes at you, because like who's gonna sit on the floor in a public place? But like he was.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like, there's just so much more that can be done, and that kind of like puts me into like my second dislike in the hobby, and I think that has to do with the prices of cards. You know,
Mhm.
like you said, throwing quarters around and you still find dollar boxes and stuff. Even over
Yep.
the past like 5, 6, 7 years, I mean, look at like buying retail. You know what I mean? Like blaster boxes and stuff from like $19, 19.99 to 39.99 for it,
Let's
it's
hey, let's keep it down on the price stuff a little bit there, in case anyone's listening. No, just
yeah,
joking.
yeah. No, I ripped that box today and I'm just like, my God, you know. And then
I know.
the crazy part is they're selling somebody like mega boxes and stuff, 56, 59, it's $60 for a mega box. And then you
Yeah.
walk into the store and you can't even get it because everybody's
Right.
already like ransacked it off their
Exactly.
shelves. So I think I get it. I understand that the concept of business, you know, and innovation, and they have to pay players, they have to pay more and more. I get it, inflation, all that wonderful stuff, but it's just it's a little bit of gouging, I feel like, you know what I mean? And I think, you know, at the end of the day, accessibility is what's going to drive the hobby. And people
Mhm.
that can't afford to buy $2,000 boxes of cards are never going to get to experience like everything that's in there, right? Like, so I don't know. I understand like making something that's it's really scarce, or you know, you have like the national treasures and stuff like that, and it's cool. I get it, but at the same time, even like flagship products and stuff, it's like really like $29 for like Don Russ. Like, what
Right.
is
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? So
And
that's my next thing.
I just hope that there's like, I want them to have a product for everyone that wants to collect. And say
Mhm.
national treasures, like that's great. If you can afford that and that's what you want to do it, because that's going to make you happy. But I mean, there's got to be something for like kids and me out there that's going to be affordable so I can buy a bunch of blasters. And I love to put sets together. And I just don't put together as many nowadays because it
Mhm.
is so expensive.
Yeah.
When the Score a Treat came out, I mean, Graham, I think he's on his third bundle now. He's like, I just like ripping packs and I'm trying to put this set together. And, he's only spent like $60 doing it so far and he's having fun with it. So, yeah, I'm with you. Like there has to be something reasonable for people to buy because there's still people out there that are not wanting just the case hits. They like the cards, they like the players, they like the teams, they want to put a set together. So hopefully they can do that. So my number two dislike, and it's probably like an old man type thing, but when you have no prices on your cards in your showcase.
Yes.
And I get it that prices will fluctuate, but not that much. And everyone
Right.
wants to bargain a little bit. People will look on eBay for things, but I want to see what you think it is or what the market think it is before I go into it. And
Hmm.
I was looking at one case today and I was kind of interested in like a couple of cards and someone asked the guy, "Well, how much is that Justin Herbert RPA or how much is this?" And the guy said, "Well, how much do you think it's worth?" And I'm like, this is
Yeah.
like Uncle Eddie's like
Used
used
car lot,
car
man. There you
sale
go.
here. I'm like, I am not gonna. And like the kid, he went on his phone, he looked at eBay for everything, and that's
That
just not for me.
Yeah, it's not. And like I said, I used to go to when I go to shows. I don't like that either. I don't like when there's nothing priced, especially if you want to swing a deal with somebody and you're like, oh man, I like that card, that card, that card, and that card, and it's like a 45-minute expedition to
Right.
run through eBay and find. I'm like, come on, dude, like really? Are we gonna have to do this every single time? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Price your cards if you're selling cards at a show. That is, and
Yep.
even in a card shop, there's card shops that are like that,
Yeah,
where you
same
go in
thing.
there,
Exactly.
you know, and I get it. You don't want to have to go through all your inventory all the time, and if it's sitting there, prices change. But your older stuff isn't going to change a great deal. I mean, you know, it's
Correct.
going to go up percentages like with inflation type of thing. It's not going
Right.
to go through the roof unless something iconic happens, like somebody passes away or somebody makes the Hall of Fame or something like
Right.
that. And then you're going to know who it is, and you can go pull them out of the case and reprice them.
Exactly. Go
So
pull them and change it. So I worked the Cubs game Friday and yesterday. Friday, the Tom Brady, his new shop across from Wrigley Field, it was just a madhouse in there. And it's not very big. I got to the game early yesterday and I went in. Tom Brady has all of his cards priced in his shop. So if Tom Brady can price his cards, so can everyone else.
Right. I think everybody should. That's crazy. Wrigley Field, man. I went to Wrigley Field. I was there for my 20th birthday. I was there at my 20th birthday at Wrigley Field.
That was only a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Ryan Sandberg was still playing there with Mark Grace and all
and I bet you had a good time there. I bet you had a good time.
I had a great time. Yeah, I was out there. I lived in Chicago for 3 years. Over off of the west side, I was in Cicero.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So
man, beers were probably what, $3.25 there, I'm guessing.
Dude, we hopped on the L train and it was like $100 day for a couple people. You know what I mean? Like we got tickets to the game, took the train down there, you know, hot dogs and everything else. So it was a good time, man. It really was.
And I feel bad for families these days. Like you can't take your family to a ball game and like have a really good time.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive. And I know that I sell $15 beers but it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty nuts. So what are we on? We're at number 3 now, right? Those were our biggest gripes. We're going into our number 3 spot. Is that what it was?
We are. And
yeah,
I always get confused on these top 10s. Are we going to number 3?
No, we're just doing the top 3. We're just doing our first 3. Nothing
Red
in
or
order.
Last one.
Just
Red
the 3 things.
One.
Yeah, and then this is you know, I actually, we were talking about sets. I just put these together because I was ripping those score boxes. So I put together some of the sets of the Super Bowl cards. So
there you go. Yeah, see, that's
those
fun,
cool.
Right? You had a good time doing that.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm still missing one card, but it is what it is. But probably if I had to say my the third thing I really just don't like about the hobby is like, I think the exploitation. Like everybody will call it gambling, and I don't like to really call it gambling because at the end of the day, we're all kind of gambling. You know, you're going out to buy a pack to open it in hopes that you get something. So,
right.
But it's just like the exploitated, like carnival game, like the whatnot stuff. I went on there and I won't buy cards. It's not for me. You know what I mean? If you're into that, that's cool. You know, some people are probably really enjoying that, and that's fine. But for me, the thing I don't like is I don't like that because it's driving the prices up so high. And then, like you said, they're just chasing hits and then throwing cards away. And I don't know. It's a little bit, it's almost disgraceful to me, you know, when you sit there and they're flipping through and I see them pass like a gold laser Terry Bradshaw. They're like, oh, this ain't the one I wanted. And they're throwing it up.
Right.
I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? It's like, you know, I'm like, this is crazy. You know, they're talking about these Hall of Fame players, you know, like, oh, it's only Art Monk. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, like, you know, Bruce Smith. Wow, man, why are they putting these vets in here? And I'm just like, dude, are you kidding me?
Hall of Famers.
Send it to me. I'll pay you the shipping. Here, take all your vets that they said that you don't want and you're ripping off of that bag and send them to me. Here's the shipping. Let me know. But yeah, that's kind of the one thing. It's just, it's because it's such a high value and people are just chasing the money that there's no focus on what it is. Like you lose focus on whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Nobody's watching the NBA. Everybody's just chasing Caitlin Clark. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? And that's when it kind of takes a turn for the worse. And I think that's kind of what puts a bad light to it, you know, and people wearing like underwear on their head and like screaming and yelling. And it's like, it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah. And I've like, you know, just turn some show ons, probably like you, just to see what it's about. And it's just, some people are crazy on there. And a lot of, like you said, like, I don't think they watch NBA, NHL, football, baseball, whatever it is, because they're mispronouncing some names that are like household names.
Right.
They're just going for, you know, what they know. Okay, I got to look for that downtown. Anything else besides the downtown is going to be no good. Yeah, that is a crazy part of the hobby for sure. So my last one, and it happened quite a few times this weekend, when it's crowded and it's tight aisles, I've been hit in the shin so many times, those little metal cases the kids walk around with now. Oh,
God, yeah.
It is the Midwest, so pretty much all of these kids will turn around and say, sorry, but like, it hurts getting hit in your shin time after time. I mean, I got a couple bruises here, and they's kids, they've all got them, but the new thing, at least new to me, is the metal cases they have on like wheels, like you would have at like the airport.
Yeah, yeah,
And those are like serious. You could hurt someone with those.
yeah. And especially in those tight spaces, I've
Yeah.
never actually been to a national, but I mean, I've go to these card shows over here in the West Coast, and they have some massive ones where it's thousands and thousands of people, and I see the same thing, and they're running through these aisles, and it's like I can barely squeeze through the people I'm walking through. And
Mhm.
you're dragging all this stuff with you, and it's like, yeah, it's a bit much, I think.
So we went to one by us. It was at a mall, and I was thinking like old school mall show where it's like it's in the actual mall around like the perimeter of like all the stores and everything. They made this like makeshift, I'll call it a warehouse type thing, but it was so cramped in there. And it was kind of when like some of the newer Pokemon stuff was coming out, I guess. People were in there with like baby buggies
Mhm.
with Pokemon stuff in there to sell to other people. Like we left after like 5 minutes because it was supposed to be like it was marketed as, bringing back sports cards because they had not had one in a couple years, I guess.
Yeah.
And everything said sports, but it was probably like 80% Pokemon. So we left and went to the Target across the street and bought a few blasters or something, had a little bit of fun still. But yeah, those people were just all over the place or standing and not moving. So they're either in your way one way or another.
Yeah.
And here's Ken right here. He's in the
Oh, there
chat.
he is. Hey, what's up, Ken? Man, good to see you. Konnichiwa. Are we there with the kids tonight? Let's see what he says. But yeah, no, I get you on that, and it's just the etiquette. And I think the etiquette's falling apart because of like what I was talking about. You know what I mean? When they're getting these crazy breaks and these like
Right.
ShamWow type guys that are out there and they're screaming and yelling, "Oh, I'd wear the ones," and you know what I mean? And they're throwing stuff and everybody's freaking out.
Right.
And I think that kind of brings that mentality to it, and I did notice that with a couple of the kids. I went to a trade night at one of the card shows, and this was at Front Row, the last one in Pasadena. And I just
Okay.
went out to the trade night floor just to see what was going on. And there's like this 12-year-old kid sitting there at a table and he's got his cards laid out. And I was like, "Oh, that's a cool card. We trying to get it." "Well, I'm going to need to pull comps real quick." And he's like,
Right.
"I'm going to have to get this for that card." And I'm just sitting there like, "Dude, you're 12, bro. What are you talking about?"
Right.
Like, you're going to pull comps, dude. What are you talking about? What are we doing here? So, yeah, I mean, and I mean, it's okay. You just got to kind of go with the hobby. Like I was saying, you got good things that happen, bad things that happen. And like I said, you just got to kind of roll with it, and you just get yourself in a situation where you kind of know what you're looking at, what you're looking to buy,
Right.
kind of what you want to buy it for. And if you find a good site, like I said, that site that I go to, it's really, really cool, and it's pretty accurate on the pricing. So I kind of just float with that, and I kind of see. And I like to make more trades, like you said, cards and cash.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
like to make more trades than anything because I think it's a better way. Especially if I've got cards that I don't PC. You know what I mean? And I want to get cards that I do PC. It's kind of cool that you can kind of trade them off. I got my Lad McConkey RPA from a guy who was a 49er fan, and I had an a Frank Gore. I said Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Yeah,
Al Gore,
yeah.
man.
No, I had a Frank Gore auto, and I traded him, in a little cash, but I picked up the RPA that I wanted for Lad McConkey, so that was kind of cool.
So I brought the first downtown I pulled. I will keep that one just because I was trying for one for so long and I finally got it. But I did bring my Jalen Hurts with me and my Hurts and AJ Brown just in case I found something I like really wanted that was expensive. I could use that to trade with a little bit. So, but didn't find it this time.
All right. So next week we're going to be doing the draft for our fantasy football league. We're going to be going live. I think you're going to join us. Nikki Nikki 2 times is going to join us. He's in the league too. I think a couple other guys are going to join us.
Ken asked a baseball question. Can I answer that right
Absolutely.
quick?
This is
Okay.
Hey, Ken knows. I love Ken.
So Ken and all the kids out there, Seiya Suzuki and Shota Imanaga, they're going to lead the Cubs to the World Series this year. And I got a feeling it's going to be the Cubs and Ohtani and the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. And I think the Cubs are going to do it. Now, I've said the Cubs are going to win year after year after year. And there are years they were in last place. So me predicting something doesn't really mean anything. Like I've picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl every single year of my life here. But that's just the way when you're a fan of something, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, are you there with the kids tonight? I didn't see if he answered or not. Let me
I
see.
think he said yes.
Oh, is he?
And I've tried to like Google translate or whatever greetings and welcome, but I'm always scared I'm going to say it wrong or just whatever. So maybe this school year I'll actually get it down and I can do it for you guys.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I dig it. So tell the kids, konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
From California, United States.
And Chicago.
I hope you guys are having a good night tonight. I hope Ken showing you some football cards and some baseball cards, and I don't know, they probably love that Pokemon if they're kids. All the kids love that stuff. It's great.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so next week we're gonna get into fantasy football. And we'll have the draft. I think Hemi set it up. I think he's got it set up to start. We'll come on at 5, and I think the draft starts like 5:15 or something like that.
Okay.
So we're gonna get all situated and get ready. I'm gonna try to build everything out so it could look cool. And we'll try to get a few people on so we could all be on at the same time, and we'll go through the draft. And then I know I'm trying to get you out of here because I know your dogs are probably killing you from walking around all day long.
Well, you know what? And no, the evening is not my ideal time of the day. I am like more of like a morning person. A lot of my neighbors will call me the most functional adult in the neighborhood before like 4 p.m. After that, I'm just kind of worthless. But Hammy's actually predicting a lot of stuff here. Packers win the Super Bowl. Jordan Love MVP. Edrin Cooper Defensive Player of the Year. Kenny Clark Man of the Year award. I mean, it's gonna be a clean sweep for the Packers.
According to Hammy, it is. He forgot the Rookie of the Year. You guys got Matthew Golden over there.
I think that could be one, and that's one where I'm looking, maybe start a new PC of him this year. So,
he's solid, man. That he's definitely a good player, man. That guy's gonna be good for years to come too. So, Vince, the kids are waiting for you to say the sports card ripping teacher. Give it to him, Vince.
Is it okay to say that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And also, before he even says that, I put the link to his channel in the description. So you guys, if you don't know him, go check him out. And if you're watching this video after the fact, better go check him out.
Greetings and welcome to the Sports Card Ripping Teacher. My wife is probably rolling her eyes upstairs. She gets tired of saying that. Every once in a while she'll come on the channel and she says that I talk too much. I'm like, if you have something to say, just butt in and say it like you do in everyday conversations. But
yeah, I started this as Pigskin Press Box because I'm a football guy, but we talk about everything. I still watch all the other sports. I still watch baseball, all that stuff. I just don't collect it, can't afford it. You know what I mean? One's enough. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming out and spending the evening with us all here. This was a good time. Everybody in the chat, I'm glad to see you 2 days, Rips and Hammy, and God is great. I'm glad Hammy made it in. Scary Terry and Nikki 2 times was in here. Sick Twist, my friend Sean. I mean, dude, this is such a great time. I appreciate every last one of you guys for coming in here and taking the time out of your day and spend it with us knuckleheads. So I appreciate you guys, and thanks again for coming out, man. And I know you were rushing home from the National. So I'm glad you guys went out there and had a good time with the kids and, swapped some cards and stuff. Seth, what's going on? Good night, my friend. But yeah, definitely, man. Thanks again for coming out. And then we'll see you guys next week. We're going to jump on and we'll get the draft going. So hopefully we'll have you back out with us next week.
Sounds good. You guys have a great week.
All right, guys. Enjoy.